Good day everyone. Now, in this report, we will focus on recognizing and addressing market needs. Explore essential strategies to ensure that your business not only identifies but effectively meets the evolving demands of consumers, staying competitive in a dynamic market. So what is target market? In the simplest way, your target market is the group of people or businesses who are interested in what you are selling and can afford to buy it. Knowing and focusing on these specific groups helps you connect with the people who really want your products or services. In other words, they are your ideal customers. So there are some questions you will need to answer in order to identify your target market for your product or service. First, who are my customers, individuals or companies? This question helps you understand if you're catering to individuals or other companies. Second, if my customers are individuals, how old are they? How much money do they earn? Where do they live? Or how do they spend their money and time? This question gives you a clear picture of your target market, which making it easier for you to reach and serve them. Third, if my customers are companies, what industries are they in? Where are those industries located? These questions, it defines the types of companies interested in your product or service and also their locations. Fourth is, what needs or wants will my product or service satisfy? Fifth, how many potential customers live in the area which I want to operate? Sa tanong naman ito, it helps you identify the size of your potential customers or potential market and adjust your strategy accordingly. 6. Where do these potential customers currently buy the products I want to sell them? Itong question na to, it reveals your competition or competitors and where your target customers currently shop. 7. What price are they willing to pay for my products or services? Itong question naman na to is determine dito yung price kung align ba siya sa budget ng customer mo. 8. What can I do for my customers that other companies are not already doing for them? Dito, it sets you apart from the competitors, making your product or service more attractive or nagiging unique siya to your customers.
I'm Angel Fernandez, and for my report is about market segment. So, groups of customers within a large market who share common characteristics are known as market segment. Market research can be used by businesses to identify market segments, or dividing your target market into several groups can help you develop a product or service that will meet a specific customer that their needs and wants. So the process of market segmentation is important because most product and services appeal only to a small portion of population. So the leisure services market is a large market that includes many segments such as outdoor adventures, people who vacation frequently, couples who eat at restaurant, and more. Targeting the entire leisure market would not make sense. You would never be able to meet the needs of entire market. So some people eat at fast food or regular basis, while other naman nag-upo lang sa while others sit down meal at a nice restaurant. Meron din mga tao na ayaw ng Chinese food, ayaw ng Italian food, or meron din tao na gusto ng Italian food or Chinese food. So businesses can make decisions based on the information gathered on market segment. However, if the data are not analyzed correctly, the product may not meet the needs of customers or the business. So in Market segmentation strategy is a plan for dividing a market into different segments based on certain criteria, such as demographics, geography, psychographics, and behavior. So now let's proceed the types of market segmentation. So the first one is the geographic segmentation. Dito is the consists of creating different groups of customers based on geographic boundaries. And for the demographic segmentation, dito na naman is yung dividing the market through different variables such as yung age, gender, income ng isang employee. Dito naman sa psychographic segmentation, so consists of grouping the target audience based on their behavior, lifestyle, attitude, and interests. So dito naman is yung capable ba ang isang tao when it comes to business. So lastly is the behavioral segmentation, focuses on specific reactions and the way customers go through their purchasing processes. Dito naman is how those customer react sa isang product or services na gi-avail nila doon sa isang company na yon.
A very useful part of analyzing your data is the creation of the customer profile. So what is customer profile? So this is the description of the characteristics of the person or company that is likely to purchase a product or service. So through the customer profile, it enables you to know kung ano ba yung mga dapat mong gawin in order na ma-meet mo yung demand ng target customers mo. So customers may be profiled based on many types of data including demographics, psychographics, use-based data, and the geographic data. So first, let us define the demographics. So sa demographics, ito na yung age, marital status, family size, ethnicity, gender, profession, and education, and income. So example, women business owners between the ages of 25 to 40 who earn at least 50,000 per year is an example of market segment based on demographic data. So market segment, as what discussed earlier, it is a group of people na may that has a common interest. In this example, the demographic data na nabanggit are the age, the gender, the profession, and the income. Next is the psychographics. So ito naman, it describes the group of people in terms of their taste, opinions, personality traits, and lifestyle habits. So example, people who prefer live in a downtown setting and whose musical preference is jazz. So dito naman, yung mga psychographics data na nabanggit is the taste in music, which is the jazz. Opinions, which is people who prefer to live in a downtown setting. So next is the use-based data. So using this data, it helps you determine how often potential customers use a particular service. So example, if you are a travel agency, aalamin mo ngayon kung gaano ba kadalas pumupunta or gaano kadalas ba nagta-travel yung target customer mo in that certain area. Next is the geographic data. Dito naman, it helps you determine where your potential customers live, kung saan sila nakatira, and how far they will travel to do business with you. So like for example, if magtatayo ka ng store na wherein magbebenta ka ng school supplies, so saan mo ba siya ipapatayo? 'Di ba kung saan malapit sa school? Since school supplies yung ibebenta mo and yung target customer mo is mga students. So ganun siya. So once you analyze your target market, it will help you develop a marketing strategy. And once you develop your marketing strategy, you can now design your products and services. You can now set prices and direct promotional efforts toward your potential customers.
Okay, so for our next topic, we have the 6 steps of market research. First, we have number 1 for define the question. Number 2 for determine the data needed. Number 3 is collect the data. Number 4 is analyze the data. And then 5, take action. And lastly, the 6th is evaluate the results. So for the first step, we have define the question. And in the first step in the market research process, you need to define exactly what it is that you need to know. And by determining what they need to know, they are defining the question that will be the focus of their research. For example, we have here is Maggie Bladden is thinking about starting a dog walking service. So, for her to start with this, she needs to ask a question. And in order for her to invest, Maggie needs to determine who would most likely use her service. So, that is the question. Who would most likely use her dog walking service? And that was the example. That was the first step. For the second step, we determine the data needed. And once you have defined the market research question, you are ready to determine what data you need to collect to provide the answer to your question. So for entrepreneurs, they have to be sure that they can collect the data that are useful and that are helpful for their research. And as an example, we have Maggie Bladden, and since she is planning to make a dog walking service, the data that she would need is not that how many people or how many families that own dogs live in the area, but instead how many of those families lack the time to walk their dogs, because that would be the appropriate data needed for her dog walking service. Not how many people live in the area, but how many people that lack the time to walk their dogs that live in that area. Next is the third step is to collect the data. So before you begin collecting data, you need to decide how will you go about gathering the data. Should you use a survey? Should you use an observation method? Or is it a focus group appropriate? So it would depend on what kind of data you are collecting. Like if it were for opinions, you would do a survey. And if you want to know when and where to get the best information, you could do an observation method. And if you need to focus or you need a focus group method, you should think about what kind of individuals you include and what type of questions or what kind of questions you're going to ask. And going back to the example, Maggie decided to do a survey would be best. So, going back to the example is when Maggie was collecting the data, she found out that in the area that she lived in, there was 60% dog owners that live in the area that had around one or more dogs. And the household, the average annual income was $75,000. So most of the household had one or more adults. Also, she found out that dog ownership was on the rise on her area, and based on the information, Maggie put together the survey that she's shown on the next page. The survey asked specific questions about the lifestyles and opinions of the choices of dog owners. So basically, all in all, when you're collecting data, you need to be careful on what you actually are collecting and how you're going to collect those data. Like what method would be a survey, would be observational, or would be a focus group. And you need to make sure that you are using the best one for the type of business that you're going to run, and that the data that you collect would be useful for your own business. Also, you should perform a secondary market research in order for you to familiarize your market, like a demographic and psychographic data, as well as information of economic trends and industry forecasts. This will help you determine what kind of primary data research to perform. Okay, after all that, we move to the next step, which is to analyze the data. And once you have collected all of your primary and secondary data, you will need to analyze and interpret the information thoroughly. The analysis should be in a written format so you can refer to it later. So, going back to the example, going back to Maggie, when she obtained her secondary data, she found out that there was 2,500 dogs that live in her area, and that 30% of the dog owners in her area would pay $20 for her to walk dogs for 30 minutes, according to her primary data. And many would also pay to have them walk 2 or 3 times a week. So Maggie determined that she could easily have 750 to walk each week. 750 dogs to walk per week. Okay, now we move on to the next step, which is the fifth step, and that is to take action. Once you have analyzed and interpreted your data, you will need to determine how to use the data to make a decision. So now that you're going to take action, this is the part that you will develop a plan of action based on the information you found on your market research. And now going back to Maggie Bledin, that she has now determined that her service or her dog walking service is very profitable. Since from her market research, she has created a target customer profile of people aged from 31 to 50 that make about 50,000 to 100,000 a year. And she also knows the amount of money her target customers are willing to pay her for her service and how much income that she can expect in return, or the income that she expects to make. In her effort to get customers, Maggie plans to create a flyer aimed at the target market, which will be distributed in the neighborhoods and veterinarian officers, which probably are dog owners. And she also plans to distribute flyers downtown and in other business areas where many of her target customers work. So that was the action that she's going to take. Now that she has pretty much determined the customers and how much income she can make, she now plans to give out a flyer to all of the places where her targets are, which are the the neighborhoods and the veterinarian officers. And she's also gonna put down flyers or pass out flyers downtown and from other business areas. Okay, now we move on to our final step, which is the sixth, and we evaluate the results. And evaluation is the last step in the market research process, but it is not enough just to develop a plan of action. Entrepreneurs must regularly evaluate the actions they take as a result of the plan. So now, Maggie will need to evaluate the effectiveness of her flyer. If she is getting a good response from her target market, she can assume that the plan of action is effective. However, if she is not getting a good response, then she will need to revise her plan of action. Always revise and pretty much evaluate the results, whether it was effective or not. If it was not, then you need to make a change of plans. And that is all for my report. Now we move on to the next.
Hello everyone, my name is Amir Hamza J. Kamid. What is impact of competition? Impact of competition is a passage outlines key principles of the U.S. economic system. So, including private property, freedom of choice, profit motive, and competition. In this system, consumers have the freedom to purchase goods and services from various providers, which creates competition among companies. As a result, new businesses entering the market must compete with existing competitors for customer loyalty. To succeed in this competitive landscape, convince customers to choose their products or services over those offered by competitors. This often involves offering products or equal or superior quality at competitive prices. So the example of the personal computer market is how competition drives innovation and choice for consumers. With companies constantly striving to differ differently and attract customers. So, overall, this passage emphasizes the importance of understanding and effectively navigating competition in the marketplace for looking to establish and grow their businesses. So, next is understand and competition. Understanding your competitional is crucial for uh, your target market and identifying potential businesses opportunities. So businesses often operate in competitive is environments to uh, and they must identify customers customers needs or desires. So this could involve offering products or services at lower prices or providing higher quality offerings than competitors. By recognizing areas where competitors fall short in meeting customers' demands. So, um, identify gaps in the market and capitalize on these opportunities to fulfill needs and attract customers.
So next is types of competition. So ang competition can either be categorized into two, which are direct competition and indirect competition. So first is direct competition, um, comes from a business that makes most of its money selling the same or similar products or services to the same market as other businesses. So ang halimbawa nito is yung telephone directory or yung internet search will help you find a number of location of competing businesses. Or yung local chamber of commerce is meron ding information about sa competitors in your business field. If gusto mo mag-start ng business, visit all of the malls and shopping center and retail outlets sa lugar nyo. And in a way of that, observation method can help you learn about direct competition. Next is indirect competition, comes from a business that makes only a small amount of money selling the same or similar products or services to the same market as other businesses. So, mas mahirap ang pag-locate ng indirect competition compare sa direct competition. Bakit? Kasi kailangan mo munang isipin lahat ng possible businesses na pwedeng mag-compete sa industry ng business mo. Halimbawa, ang isang malaking department store ay pwedeng mag-stock ng ilan sa mga pinakasikat na product na dala ng isang private-owned special shop. Nag-o-offer din yung department store ng iba pang lines of merchandise. Kumikita siya ng maliit na halaga sa same item na inalok ng specialty shop that makes the department store an indirect competitor doon sa specialty shop. Next, large retailers. Kapag ang isang large retailer is pumasok sa community or sa market, pwede siyang maging reason or maging source ng direct and indirect competition. Bakit? Halimbawa, large retailers like Walmart, nag-o-offer sila ng mas murang prices and jobs sa community, and karamihan sa businesses find it hard to compete with them. The reason kaya karamihan sa locally owned retailers is napipilitang mag-close or mag-shutdown, and some reason is mahirap para sa mga entrepreneurs na mag-compete with large retailers, which include the following. First, large retailers usually are able to keep larger quantity of products and products in stock. So, nakaka-purchase sila ng maraming stocks kasi nga mas malaki ang revenue nila, at the same time, malaki yung storage areas nila. Mas maraming orders, mas malaki ang volume discounts, then pwedeng makasave ang consumers or yung customers in a form of lowering the price. Next is large retailers. Chains do not rely on single product line. So, if ang isang product line is di masyadong mabenta, ang large retailer store is di pa rin mawawala ng business kasi nga maliban sa mga products na yon, meron pa silang products na successful. Compare sa small business, mas risky yung small business kasi nga isang product line lang ang meron sila and wala ng variety. If di na bet ng consumer or ng customer yung product nila, wala silang other options or wala silang other alternatives na pwedeng mai-offer. Third, large companies usually have more resources to devote to advertising. So, a large company makes more revenue and can hire advertising professional na pwedeng mag-create ng effective advertising to attract more customers. So, kapag kasi maganda yung advertising nyo or gawa siya ng mga professional, parang mas nakaka-attract siya ng mga customer. So, yun yung wala sa mga small business owners or sa mga hindi large retailers.
Hello everyone, I am Francine Austria and my topic for today is all about competitive analysis. So what is competitive analysis? Competitive analysis is a strategic business activity that involves evaluating and comparing a company's strengths and weaknesses relative to its competitors. So basically, here in competitive analysis, it's like sizing up your competition to understand how well your business is doing compared to others in the same field. So, basically here, kailangan mo alamin yung mga weaknesses and strengths ng competitors mo. So, you know where they're lacking and kung ano yung dapat mong i-improve sa business mo. There are steps that needs to be followed to begin your competitive analysis. So, the first one is to make list of your competitors. Then second is summarize the products and prices offered by your competitors. Then number 3, list each competitor's strengths and weaknesses. Then 4, find out the strategies and objectives of your competitors. Then last is to determine the strength of the market. Loyalty. So it involves building strong relationships with customers so that they continue to choose your products or services over those of your competitors. So it's important to maintain customer loyalty in order for the customers to keep choosing you or your products over your competitors. So in order to maintain customer loyalty, you must listen and respond to your customers' feedback. It is a crucial aspect of maintaining a positive relationship with customers, asking the customers' opinions as well as responding to the feedback in order for them to stay or buy again. So as we all know, feedback is a must when we have a business. Because with that, we'll know kung ano yung dapat nating improve sa mga products natin, especially when it's from our customers, right? So yeah. So last is the other strategies for maintaining loyalty. So businesses use a lot of strategies to maintain customer loyalty. These are the most basic customer loyalty strategies businesses use. So the first one is superior service. So dito sa superior service is when your customer is buying, you should be friendly and you should be as well helpful, lalo na if they're asking for something or any help. So next is more convenient hours than other businesses. So it's important na i-extend mo yung operating hours sa business mo, especially when it's night na kailangan ng customers mo ng medicines or like they're hungry, so they like to buy snacks, right? So next is the easy return policies. So when a business has a customer-friendly return policies, it would be easy sa customers nila na to return and exchange product, and with that it will foster trust as well as their satisfaction. For specific credit cards wherein these are benefits just like discounts, reward points, or exclusive promotion. Ang example nito is yung sa Watsons, like they have this card, then it contains reward points. Is the personal notes or cards for birthdays or as a way to say thanks for the business. So ito is kapag binigyan mo ng notes, cards for birthdays, yung customers mo, they will remember you, hindi ka nila makakalimutan, and they will feel appreciated and thankful for acknowledging them for their special day or special occasion. The frequent buyer programs, from the word frequent, dito naman is kapag yung customers mo is repeatedly buying your products, then they will earn points or receive discounts. Example given here is Kathleen McGuire, the owner of Flower Markets, encourages shoppers to buy all of their flowers from her garden store by issuing them a frequent buyer card, which she stamps every time a purchase of $10 or more is made. Once the card has been stamped 10 times, customers can redeem the card for a free bouquet of flowers. So that's all. Thanks for listening.